guys are watching the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. The Senior Bowl is over. It's a great time then to do another 7-round Dallas Cowboys mock draft. I'll make note, look, the Sims are broken. I'm still getting players that are probably not going to last long as they did, but who cares? I will make note, we'll do a bunch of mock drafts this year. Until the end, I will try to make it different players each time, because it's boring if I pick the same guy in round 5 every time, you know? Now, I didn't do trades in this mock draft. If you want a Cowboys mock draft with trades in the future, then type me in the comment section right now. If that's something you want, make your voice heard in the comments. All right, round 1 on the clock. You're using the PFN mock draft sim. Taiyese Fuaga, Amarius Mims, Tyler Guyton, all off the board in a 4-pick span. That sucks. Jerzon Newton off the board. And then Seattle, 1 pick before me, said F you, traded up to get Jackson Powers Johnson. The sim has trades. I did not do trades of my own. So JPJ's off the board. That sucks. Instead, I'll pivot. I'll still go offensive line. I'll go Graham Barton out of Duke. He was a mostly college left tackle who could probably play center or left guard. And if Barton had been healthy, maybe he would have drawn some extra Senior Bowl buzz the same way that Jackson Powers Johnson did. Barton, I thought, was a little bit better in 2022, was a bit healthier as well. Some of the concerns you have with the length, et cetera, and being able to hold up at tackle would be mitigated by a hypothetical move to center or even left guard. With Tyler Biadasz, a free agent, uncertainty across both left guard and center, depending on what you do with Tyler Smith, adding an interior lineman makes a ton of sense. And a player like Barton, I think, kind of checks off some boxes you're looking for and fills at least one starting spot for you along the offensive line. Sure, maybe I'd rather have Jackson Powers Johnson. He's off the board. I do get a damn good football player here in round 1. Some very intriguing other names who were on the board. Keon Coleman was there, but I don't really want to go wide receiver. Chop Robinson, if you want pass rush, he was there. Byron Murphy from Texas was on the board. That's a fun idea there. Troy Foston out of Washington was there. Jordan Morgan. So I could have gone a lot of different offensive line routes there. But I do think going after the best available lineman, which for me was Barton, and fills a big-time need, made a ton of sense for where Dallas is at. So who do you want the Cowboys to draft in round 1? Could be the guy I took or somebody else. To keep it realistic. I'd love Joe Alt. It's not going to happen. The ad comes here on YouTube. Take advantage. Sound off at the pinned comment of today's video. Round 2, notable guys gone. Trey Benson and Jonathan Brooks, 2 of the top running backs off the board. And it's Rakestraw off the board out of Missouri. 2 notable linebackers also gone. Out of Clemson, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Jalen Ford in a move that surprised me when a couple picks before, I took Edrin Cooper out of Texas A&M. Again, are the Sims broken? Yeah. Is Cooper going to get there in round 2? Probably not. He's probably going to go between your round 1 pick and your round 2 pick, but I'd argue I got maybe the best off-ball linebacker in the class. Now, he's not the biggest guy. If you want a true thumper, maybe you want somebody else, but I'm okay having an athletic linebacker who can chase and made a ton of plays at A&M, can do some coverage stuff, can do some run stopping, can blitz as well. I don't want a linebacker necessarily in round 1. I think I can find a damn good one in the second round. Does Cooper get to me? Who knows? But it'd be a strong selection by the Cowboys. Now you got Cooper and, in theory, Overshown locked and loaded there at off-ball linebacker. Some other players who were on the board in round 2, Zach Frazier, who just screams Dan Campbell, future player. Malachi Corley, if you want a receiver, I thought about that one a lot. I was like, ooh, it's a good player. Could be your Debo type player. Chris Braswell and Kalen King, the cornerback from Kalen King, out of Penn State, edge from Alabama. Patrick Paul, I think, should go in the kind of that mid to late day 2 range, kind of where we're at. I view him as a kind of a developmental piece. Needs a year, but if you keep Tyron Smith and draft Patrick Paul, that could be a really good thing long-term for your organization. But I did 2 linemen last time, so I didn't want to go back-to-back linemen again. Today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. It's daily fantasy made easy. You pick 2 to 6 player stat projections, more than or less than on those stat projections and watch your winnings roll in. We are obviously nearly done with the NFL prize pick slates, but NBA, college basketball, esports, and more are available. Here is one of my Super Bowl prize picks. I love the more than Patrick Mahomes half a passing yard. It's a freebie. Put it on all your picks, especially when you're doing the power play like I am on this one. Got to get all three right. Christian McCaffrey, more than 8.5 yards on the ground. I think they're going to run the ball out against a shaky Chiefs run defense. And more than Travis Kelce, 7 catches. That Kelce-Mahomes dynamic has been incredible. And, the Niners defense got beat by Laporta pretty decently. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Some notable players off the board in round 3. Cedric Gray would be a fun third-round pick if you don't go linebacker in round 2 out of North Carolina. Bucky Irving off the board. The draft sim knows what's up. Blake Corum to the Chargers. That's actually a really logical idea. Fills the need, puts it Jim Harbaugh's guy. Mikey Sanderson, who I love. Tez Walker out of UNC in the third also would be pretty decent value. I'll go running back here, though. Pick number 87, Braylon Allen out of Wisconsin. Now, I don't know if he's going to be good enough as a pass catcher or the speedster to not need a secondary pairing back. But what you could totally do? Insert faster running back here, whether that's even Tony Pollard or somebody else in free agency. Don't pay them very much money. And now you have your bigger, more durable running back to form a tandem. You want that thunder and lightning? Here's your thunder in Braylon Allen. By the way, his numbers went down this year. Didn't go for 1,000 yards. He had fewer carries. He wasn't as good as his best year in 2021. His volume is somewhat high, but not overly high to where you'd be maybe too concerned about it. I think if you can get a running back in the third round, I'd say fourth round, but you don't have a fourth round pick. I am open to that idea and adding some powerful runner if you want that short yardage back to pair with somebody else and don't overpay and commit to the position. There you go. Now, players on board in the third round also include Roman Wilson, who I like quite a bit. James Williams is a Dan Quinn safety through and through, but he's now in Washington. Peyton Wilson might be the most Cowboys pick in this year's class. I almost did it, but I didn't do it in round 2. I just took a linebacker, so I'm going to pass on it. Peyton Wilson is as talented as Edrin Cooper, if not even more so. Double-digit surgeries. I'm confident in him. Tushawn Lee stopped me from doing it. Braden Fisk out of FSU. Other good back on the board was Audric Estime out of Notre Dame. Could have gone that route too. I think that third round, you had a fourth round pick somehow. Good value to be looking at the back position. Now, make sure you don't miss any free agency, draft, trade rumors, everything else in between. I want to do more mock drafts than ever this year. Need you guys to subscribe to make that happen. If you haven't already, hit that sub button, youtube.com/CowboysTV. No fourth round pick, so we jump a pretty good ways along here from 182 to 160. Nearly 100 picks later is my next selection. I'm going to go Christian Jones out of Texas. Now, Jones played right tackle for the Longhorns, but he flashed pretty nicely at the Senior Bowl. Pretty solid performances. Again, these are all PFF numbers, so asterisk them if you will. I believe that it's a good idea, if the board falls properly, to go tackle or offensive line top 100 and outside top 100. The problem is the group gets real thin if I don't take one top 200, so I'll kind of adjust my numbers from that perspective. Jones, maybe he's only a backup for you. He's a fifth-round pick. That's fine. Backup offensive lineman for 4 years as a fifth-round pick is a good selection, especially when it's a late fifth-round pick. And if Terrence still continues to struggle, maybe he gets a chance to do it. Others on the board, Luke McCaffrey, who I already took once, so not going to do it today. Jawar Jordan out of Louisville, the Notre Dame linebacker. Maurice Lafleur, I think is how it's pronounced. Probably got that wrong. I thought about it, but I took a linebacker earlier and said in the top 60, so didn't want one as early this time around. Fabian Lovett, the other FSU defensive lineman, and trigger warning for the Michigan interior offensive lineman, because it's funny. So would you do my strategy and double dip on the offensive line in this year's class and take 2 guys wherever those 2 picks end up arriving at? Y for yes, N for no in the comments section. Now this pick, I really felt like I broke the sim. Austin Booker out of Kansas. Round 6, 212 overall. For now, is a sleeper prospect. I would not be surprised if we get to the draft in April and this is 100 picks later than what he goes, if not more so. He only has about 500 career snaps, but he was awesome at Kansas this year. Great pressure rates, 12 TFLs, 8 sacks, didn't do really anything at Minnesota, played very well at Kansas. You've got free agents in Dante Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong. I feel like Fowler is a commander no matter what. So adding a guy that I think is probably going to end up being a top 100 player on most draft boards when it's all said and done in the 6th round, yeah, that's a good idea. He might test your ball at the combine. On top of that, that's a pure value pick for me in the 6th. Now we're in the 7th round, and it's not a great day 3 class, so we're throwing flyers here. Jordan Whittington out of Texas, the other Texas wide receiver, had some injuries in his career, never really became the kind of dynamic receiver running back hybrid I was hoping he was going to be. But hey, we're in the 3rd round. Let's take a flyer here. That's my mindset, right? Player you might have heard of, can make some splash play stuff for you potentially, offer some slot receiver value, which you don't have a bigger slot receiver really. Whittington, who would not be guaranteed a roster spot, would fit that mold. Very back end of round 7, I'll take Jalen Key out of Alabama here. That is a flex piece in the secondary who played some nickel, some strong, some free safety for Alabama this past season. In general, 7th round comes, as long as there's not medical or character concerns, I'll take Jalen Key. I'll take the Bama guy, right? That's always like a safer-ish pick. I mean, we've seen some late-round Bama players have success as well. Is it an impact starter? No. It's also pick 245. If he can last a couple years as a depth piece, that is a valuable pick. So my mock draft recap for you guys. Graham Barton in round 1, Edrin Cooper in round 2, Braylon Allen in the 3rd, Christian Jones in the 5th, Austin Booker in the 6th, and then both Jordan Whittington and Jalen Key in the 7th round. That is my Cowboys mock draft. Barton, Cooper, Allen, Jones, Booker, Whittington, and Key. Overall, I think it's actually pretty darn good. Obviously, I'm being a bit biased here, but I like the hauls. The day 3 picks are my least favorite. That's how mock drafts tend to go. So grade my Cowboys mock draft. A, B, C, D, or F. Get those grades in for me in the comment section right now.